So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Here are the images, and a couple people were asking about how to do the pictures with remove.bg. So I'm actually going to use that method tonight so y'all can see it in real time. Again, I like it sometimes I don't. So we'll see how it works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open or go to remove.bg. And you can see here, you can either upload the image or you can drop the file in. I'm not going to save the images to my computer, so I'm just going to minimize this screen and drag them separately. So all I did was separate my tabs. And then I'm going to click over here in my email and drag it over. All right, so that removal was actually pretty good. So we're going to keep that. You can either download it in HD if you have credits on remove.bg, but it is free if you do the smaller download. So I'm just going to do the download because I don't think I have any credits right now and I don't want to go in and purchase any right now. So I'm going to go to download. And then it's going to open. I'm using Edge today instead of Chrome, so it's opening up here. And then we're going to open up GIMP. So here's our GIMP screen. Like I asked every week, who has their GIMP screen all set up and ready to go that looks like this? Give me a 4 in the chat if you have your GIMP screen set up to look similar to mine, with your icons here, your submenus, and your layers window. Four. Anybody not set up yet? Give me a 5. If not, no judgment. I just want to gauge where we're at. Oh, that went by fast. Somebody said, I don't have the alignment. Do you have little triangles at the bottom of your icons? Hi, Neat. Welcome. Melodic, do you have the little triangles in the bottom corners of your icons? Oh, we got a lot of first timers. Hey, y'all. Welcome. Thanks for tuning in. All right, so for those newbies, this may be a little confusing, but if you are in the Backdrop Blueprint, you have, or the Plus membership, you have access to the replay, plus all the access to how to set up your program. But if you got the Backdrop Starter Kit, you're gonna learn how to set up the program anyway. She says she'll have to look. Okay, just let me know later, Melodic. All right, so here's the GIMP screen that is going to be, that you're going to set up, all of you 5s. And I'm going to design a square backdrop. So for my B Squad members are members of the Backdrop Blueprint, no matter what tier or if they're in a monthly membership. Let me know in the chats, what are the dimensions for a square backdrop that I recommend in training? Renee, 6,000 by 6,000. Sharon, 6,000 by 6,000. That is correct. So for those of you who have not created templates, you're going to go to File, New, and then you're going to type in 6,000 and 6,000 for both the width and the height. Make sure that pixels is selected, and then click on OK. I'll go ahead and do it since I have a lot of new people over here tonight. Let me turn my light on. All right, there we go. Use pixels from the drop down. You can see there are different units. We want to work in pixels. Click on OK. And then it's going to tell you that you're creating a large image. Yes or no. Click on OK. And then you'll get your canvas set up. And it's going to be whatever color your background color is over here on your color palette. So if it's not blue, don't panic. We're going to change it anyway. So that's how you create a new 6,000 by 6,000. But I have templates. And if you have templates, we're going to go to File and then Open. And then I'm going to go to my template folder and I'm going to go to my square template and click on Open. So I just showed you two ways to open up a 6,000 by 6,000, one manually and one with your template. So as you can see, I have my logo in my template as well as my watermark. It's real faint. Okay. So I'm going to save this first and foremost. We always want to be saving. We're going to go to File, Save As, because we don't want to overwrite our template. I gotta hide this window. Hold on, y'all. There we go. So I'm gonna name it. Who was that? Rachel Thornton. I could type. And then I'm going to save it to my folder where I have all my open orders. Click on Save. So now you can see in this top left corner, here's the new file name instead of it being our template name. So we don't want to overwrite our template. Is that making sense so far? So I showed you how to open GIMP by creating a 6,000 by 6,000 or by using a template that you've created with those dimensions, and how to save. Give me a 6 in the chat if that makes sense. All right. So we downloaded one of the images already on remove.bg. So we're going to go to File, Open as Layers. So again, File, Open as Layers. We want to do everything as layers so that we continue working on one design file. And then you're going to go to your downloads. And you're going to find that image that you downloaded and click on Open. So there's one of our images. And it is really small because we saved a smaller version. We're going to go back to the email where those images were submitted. Grab another one. Yes, I'm a human. Oh, Lord. All the tall buildings. So did I not click them all? Is that a building? We're going to download that one as well. And then I think she sent me 3 images, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab the last one and get that out of the way as well. So those removals actually were good today, but the pictures were clear. So I do appreciate her sending clear pictures. So if we have to do any cleanup, it's going to be very minimal. And let's see. We have the theme and the colors. But first, let's go ahead and add those over here to GIMP. Oop, where'd my chat go? There we go. So anybody remember the steps that I just did to add that picture? So we're gonna do the same thing to add the other 2 pictures. Anybody remember the steps? I don't know where my chat box went. That is correct. File, open as layers. We're going to find our download folder. Downloads. And then, excuse me, I'm trying to eat at the same time. Let me stop. And then we can grab both of these new ones by holding down the Shift key and clicking on both. It works the same with Control. Control is if they aren't like right under each other. Click on Open. And then here's all of our images. So what we want to do now is they are small, as you can see. What would be our next step? So Blueprint members, B Squad, what would be the next thing to do to make them bigger? That is correct. We're going to scale. So our scale tool looks like a small square pointing down to the right to a larger square. So we're just going to click on that. And then we're going to click on the layer that we want to increase the size for. You want to make sure that your chains are locked, because if they are not, it's going to scale disproportionately, and then it's going to distort the image, and we don't want that to happen. So you can either drag the corners, the sides, top and bottom, or you can do the up and down arrows, or if you have a specific size that you want your layers to be, you can type it in with either the width or the height. And for now, that's good. We're gonna scale the other ones. So I'm gonna turn this layer off by hitting the eyeball beside that layer. To turn it off, we're gonna click on the next layer, do the same thing. So we're still on scale. Click and drag it. That's probably gonna be our middle picture. Once you get it big enough to where you can work with it or see it at least, click on scale. Let's turn it off. And let's do our third one, same thing. All right, so here are our images so far. If I turn them back on, you see they're all stacked on top of each other. And I'm going to show you how to move them in just a second. But let's go ahead and save, file save, because you want to save your work as you go. And then I'm going to see what the theme was. I'm assuming that's supposed to be a night of luxury. And then the colors are silver and white. So I'm going to copy the text. And then I'm going to go over here to our text tool because we want to add this text now. So the text tool is a black bolded capital A. And then you'll see the sub menu changes. And then you can see the different fonts that are installed on your computer by clicking on this square underneath the word text. And you can go through and see all of the different fonts installed on your computer. So don't be alarmed if you see something that you don't have. That is fine. That just means you don't have them installed. And in the backdrop blueprint, there is a module on where to find fonts that I use and how to install them so that you can use them on your GIMP software. But I'm actually okay with Black Sword. Y'all know they got me in a chokehold right now. Black Sword has me in a chokehold. So I'm gonna leave that text because that's actually what I want to use tonight. And then I'm just gonna click inside of our canvas. Let me turn my watermark off, it's distracting me. So I'm just gonna hit the eyeball beside that layer. Now I'm just gonna click inside of our canvas. This, where you see the grid squares, light and dark gray. This is our canvas, that's what I'm referring to. So click inside of there. And you'll see that there's a menu that pops up with the details of our text layer, what it's gonna be, the font, the size, and the color. The color pulls from your foreground color over here in your color palette. White is fine for now. I'm gonna show you how to change it to like a glitter effect in just a second. So because I copied it from the email, the name of the theme, I'm just gonna do Control V to paste. And then the text is gonna show up in our canvas. As you can see, it's huge. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna highlight this layer by, what was that? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, triple clicking to highlight it all. And I'm gonna either use the down arrows to make it smaller or just type in a smaller number. Still too big. All right. So I'm gonna use my move tool so I can see it. The move tool is the very first icon. It looks like a crossbar. Click on that, and it's gonna move layers around your canvas. So I just want to move it up to where we can see it. So we're gonna edit this because we don't want it to be lowercase, and I want to change this to luxury. So we're gonna go back to our text tool to edit. Just click inside of there where you want to make your changes and make your changes just like you're on a word processor or any other program. And that's how you make the changes to the text. So I showed you how to move layers, how to add the text, and then how to change the sizing and the actual wording. Give me a 7 in the chat if that makes sense. Awesome, awesome. Thanks for the 7s. Okay. So I don't think she ever sent me her name. I asked for her name earlier, but I don't think she responded. So I'll just add it later. Rachel, are you on here? I'm trying to see if she's even here tonight. Rachel. Rachel Linen, is this you? I don't know, it's a different one. Sorry, same name. I didn't know if it was the name change between the email and you on Zoom or not, so, okay. So what we're gonna do, I have this really cute white tuft background that I want to use. And then I'm gonna do like some bedazzled sparkly stuff. So y'all get ready, okay? So I already have it saved to my computer, so I don't have to go and find it on PNG Tree or anything like that. So I'm gonna go to File, open its layers again. And then I'm going to go to my graphics folder. I highly recommend everybody start creating a graphics folder because you're going to start getting a lot of graphics the more and more you design. And then in that graphics folder, you want to do subcategories. As you can see here, I have plenty. So let me see what I got to save as. So I actually named it Tuft. So I have a white one. I need to rename them so I know the color. This is the one I want to use. So I'm going to click on Open. And then you can see that this needs to be moved down over here in our layers window. It needs to be at the very bottom because this is going to be our background. No worries, just click and drag it down so that it's at the bottom. And then as you can see, it's too small, so we need to scale it. Back to our scale tool. You can either drag the corners, use the arrows, or type. But because our canvas size is, again, 6,000 by 6,000, I'm just going to type in 6,000, hit tab, and because my chains are linked, it's going to auto-populate for the height. And you can just click on scale. All right. And now you see we either need to use the move tool to move it into position, or if you want it exactly in position, we can use the alignment tool, which is next to the move tool. It looks like a bar graph. So once you click on that, you're just going to click in the corner of the layer you want to align, and you'll see a square pop up in each corner. That's how you know the alignment tool is selected for that layer. And then you're going to click on center and middle over here in our submenu that pops up. So center, see where it moves it to the middle, and then middle, where it moves it to the middle. So that's how you use the alignment tool. All right, let's go ahead and save our work. All right, so remember I said the colors were supposed to be silver and white. Right now that is clearly gold and white. So I'm going to show you how to change the color real quick. So we're going to make sure our layer is still selected over here in our layers window. And we're going to go to colors. Everybody put colors in the chat so I know you're following me. Colors. Thank you, thank you. And then for this, we're going to use hue saturation. So type in hue. Hue. That sounds so weird to say. It sounds real country. Hue. Hue. Click on that and you're going to get a screen like this one. You can play around with the settings. You can see here, if we go through hue, clicking and dragging or using the up and down arrows, it changed the colors of those little studs. So I'm just playing around with it so y'all can see how it works. You can play around with the lightness and the darkness. Or you can play around with the saturation. Or you can do a combination of everything. But as you can see here, when I did the saturation, it changed my little studs to silver. So that's what we're going to go with. So I'm going to reset and then drag my saturation down. So this is something you just have to play around with when you're changing colors, because then something as simple as saturation, making it all negative, may not necessarily work for your image because it's a different image. That makes sense. So did that make sense in the chat? Let me just put makes sense. Awesome. Then once you have it set to how you want it set, click on OK. All right. So I also want to add, I'm thinking this is going to be cute in my head. I don't know. I want to add like this glitter effect, but I want just the corners to be exposed to the glitter. So we're going to see how that works out. I'm trying to think of how to explain it to y'all without making it harder than what it needs to be. But anyway, I also have this silver sparkly graphic saved on my computer as well. And if you are in the monthly membership, you will get these graphics once the replay has downloaded. So again, we're going to go to File, Open as Layers, go to our graphics folder. I'm going to go to my glitter folder, glitter fill. Look, I even broke it down to borders and fills. So little OCD, don't mind me. Here is my glitter file. The very bottom, click on Open. And there's my sparkly glitter. So I want like a corner. Let me zoom out. So I'm gonna go to Image or View, Zoom out, or just hit the minus key on my keyboard. I love shortcuts. So to create a triangle, excuse me, with this layer selected, I'm going to use my free select tool. It looks like a lasso. Free select. I'm going to just click and find me a point to start with in the shape I want it to be. So I'm not dragging, I'm literally just clicking and moving my mouse. Let's say I wanted my, I want it to be a little bigger. So you can actually move these points by clicking and dragging, and then release when you have it to where you want it to be. That's good. Now I'm going to click back on my starting point so you can see the selection with the dotted moving line, or the marching ants is what I like to call it. And I'm going to delete everything else. Actually, I'm going to duplicate this first. So to duplicate, click on that layer, click on this fifth icon down here at the very bottom. See where I'm hovering? Duplicate. And we're going to save that for later because we'll need it later. Go back to our original layer. You want to make sure that the transparency is turned on, the alpha channel. So you're going to right click. So what I mean by alpha channel and transparency is if the alpha channel is grayed out, that means when I do a deletion, the deleted part is going to be transparent. So that is the function of an alpha channel. So I'm going to make sure I'm walking y'all through everything and making it make sense instead of just actually doing it. So the add alpha channel adds the transparency basically. And if it's not grayed out, go ahead and click on it so that it is grayed out. Okay. And then because the selection is right here where the line is moving, so it's just this part, we want to get rid of the rest. We need to actually invert our selection so that when we hit delete, the background, which is this part, everything that's not in the selection is deleted. So to do that, we're going to go to select, invert. And now you see the marching ants move to this part of the selection, which is what we want to remove. So give me a, what number, Mom? Give me an 8 in the chat if that explanation of inverting made sense. I want to make sure that I'm not leaving anybody behind. And in the membership, this is all broken down in separate short videos. So you don't have to like go in and find a certain spot in the live and long video. It's literally broken down step by step. All right, so I'm done. I'm seeing all 8s. If you need me to repeat anything, let me know. So now we're gonna go to edit, clear, or as you can see, the keyboard shortcut is delete. Ooh, this is gonna be cute, y'all. I'm excited. Delete. All right. But we still have a selection on. We know that because of the marching ants. So we need to turn it off by going to select none. So what we did was select invert, edit clear, select none. I actually should have did it along the pattern. But I can fix that in just a second. So to fix it, you can see how it's not as parallel as it needs to be in regards to this diagonal line. This is what I'm trying to say. I don't know why I couldn't get diagonal out. So I'm gonna actually undo it so y'all get a little extra practice. I'm gonna undo until I get the undo clear. Undo all that, select none. All right, we back. So I can see I'm gonna turn down the opacity of this layer so I can see behind it. Or okay, so first you can turn down the opacity up here at the top. You can make it see-through. Okay. Or you can just turn this layer off, but have it still selected. And then use your free select tool to go along the diagonal like that. So 2 different ways. But you need to make sure that you turn it back on and turn the opacity back up if that's the route you chose so you can see. Now we're gonna go to select invert, edit clear, or delete on your keyboard, and then select none. So now you see it looks a little better. That's the OCD in me, y'all, I promise. I have to do it. So I want one on the other side as well. So I'm going to duplicate this layer. By one, I mean this triangle. Click on the layer I want to duplicate, which is this one. At the very bottom, I'm going to click on duplicate. Now you can see I have two of the same layers. One says copy. Scroll over so you can see it. It says copy. And what I'm going to do is use my flip tool, which looks like two arrows pointing away from each other. And then I want it to flip horizontally, which is left to right, right to left. You see where my cursor is, the arrows are pointing right and left. If vertical is selected, the arrows be going up and down. But I want right to left, which is horizontal. So I'm just going to click on the layer I want to flip. And there it is. So now we have our sparkly corners. All right, let's save it. So any questions on using our fuzzy select tool and our flip tool? No questions, give me a 9. If so, tell me I need to run it back or let me know what's up. All right, I see all 9s. Y'all hanging on in there. All right, so now we just need to move our images around using the move tool, which looks like a crossbar. You can scale them to different sizes if you need to. Let me move my chat box so I can see what I'm doing. Zoom in by holding down Shift and hitting the plus key so I can see better. And I wish I knew what her name was right now. Let me check my email again. Nope, she still didn't email me back. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is, oh, I could just do like prompt send off. Never mind. I was about to, never mind. Scratch that. So what I'm gonna do is scale these images down because they're a little too big for what I have in mind. So I'm gonna scale them down using my scale tool. And one other thing I just realized I didn't tell y'all, and it's bothering me now that I'm looking at it. I like to go ahead and crop my individual layers down to size so that I don't have all this extra fluff around the borders. So here's the border, this yellow line. You see all the extra space back here. The easiest way, the fastest way to do it is by going to layer. At the very bottom, crop the content. And you can see how it clipped it down to the actual contents. Do it again for this layer. Layer, crop to content. And it makes the layers easier to move as well. So I'm gonna do that for all of the layers real quick. Even these triangles in the corners. Oh, that's the size of the file, hold on. So the other way, the manual way to crop is using the crop tool itself. It looks like two right angles crossed over each other to make a square. You can see where my mouse is hovered over. Crop. And in the submenu, you want to make sure that you select current layer only, because if not, it's going to crop your whole design file, which you can undo it, but it's just a nuisance. So you're just going to click to the part that you want to crop. And hit enter on your keyboard. So now it's saved that space. Let's go to the other corner. And hit enter. So those were the 2 ways to crop. So there's layer, crop the content, and then using the actual crop tool. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna move this one down. Now we're just gonna play around with the images and the size and the stuff like that. Using your move tools and your scale tools. If you want to do some aligning, you can do that. Okay. So I'm going to create another layer under here that says prom send off. So I'll just do that instead of the name. So a night of luxury prom, or 2023 prom send off. So you can either go in and use your bolded black capital A text tool and click in here and start typing and make all the modifications. Or you can duplicate this layer, the text layer that's already there, if that's the size that you want to keep. All the same criteria that we have already set. So we're going to click on that. I say, go ahead and duplicate it. It doesn't look like it did anything on your canvas, but over here in our layers window, you can see that there are 2 layers now. We're going to use our move tool to move one of them down. So just click and drag it down. And then we're going to change the text by clicking on our text tool and just typing in what we want it to say. 2023 prom send off. Is send off 2 words? And as you can see, it's behind our image. So all you have to do to move a layer up so that it's above another layer is click and drag it up to where you want it to be. And then I'm going to move with our alignment tool to center it. So here's our duplicated text layer that we edited. I can't see the chat again. Hold on. That background was actually off of Etsy. I'm assuming you're talking about that tufted background, Avina. That was on Etsy. And then I found the glitter. I think I found the glitter on PNG Tree. Okay. So, next order of business. We want to add some sparkly something to this text so it will pop. Anybody have any questions so far though? Because I don't want to go through it and then y'all be like, what the heck? What the hey? Any questions so far? Give me a yes or a no. No, 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 no. Okay, great. So I want to show you all how to add a glitter fill to your text. So we're going to do a glitter fill. We're going to do an outline. Then we're going to do a shadow so that it all comes together. So first and foremost is the glitter fill. This is why I duplicated that glitter layer earlier when I was doing the triangles, so I'll have it for the text. And because I have two different text layers, I'm going to have two different glitter layers. So I'm going to duplicate it again. And then I'm just going to drag them up above each of my respective glitter layers. I mean, text layers, I'm sorry. Because I want the glitter to be on top. So select the text layer that we want to add the glitter to. We're going to start off with the first layer that says A Night of Luxury. So that's selected. I'm going to right click, alpha to selection, because we want to make this the selection right now. We're going to turn on, okay, somebody chatting with me on Facebook. We're going to turn on this glitter layer so we can see it, right? So here's that glitter layer. Then we're going to click on the layer for the glitter. And to remove the background, we're going to have to invert because the selection is actually the text right now. Okay, so we're going to go to select, invert, and now you can see the marching ants around the edges. Edit clear or delete on your keyboard. Turn off the selection, and you can see here we now have a glitter font. Layer, crop to content. Oh, I can't do it. I'm gonna have to do a manual. If you ever get an error message like this, cannot crop because the active layer is already cropped to this content, just click OK and manually do it. So we know how to do both ways. So I'm gonna repeat that with the bottom layer, just in case you missed it. We're gonna select the 2023 prom send off. Right click, alpha to selection. Turn on the glitter layer. Click on the glitter layer and invert. Clear. And then turn off the selection by going to select none. And then we're going to use our crop tool to crop. Make sure you don't cut it off like I'm about to. So you can just drag it down by the sides of the corners and hit enter. So it's getting real pretty and dainty. Give me a 1 in the chat if that made sense. And again, in all of the memberships, this is broken down in short bite-sized videos, not one long video. So it's easy to find and they're named and everything. So B Squad members, let them know, for the people who are not B Squad members yet, that it's easy to go step by step in the course because it's broken down to small steps. So just give me a little kudos right now. And I'm gonna go grab something to drink while y'all are in the chat. So let them know that it's easy to understand. If you need to go back, you can go back and you can see exactly what you want to learn. All right, some of y'all wrote in the Q&A box, but thank you. All right, let's go back. And I'm gonna need some more y'all B Squad members to give me a little more kudos. But some of y'all put it in the Q&A, so that's fine. But put it in the main chat. Anyway, we're going to now move on to an outline real quick, and then we're gonna do a shadow. Oh no. Make sure you get back in. Are you on the computer now, Deborah? Or are you on your phone? Oh, okay. So well, when you get your computer, just hop back in. Keisha said I've gone back several times. I don't blame you. I do. Sometimes I have to go back myself and see how to do. I'm like, wait a minute, how did I do that? Like I recorded the videos and still forget. So it happens to me too, y'all. So don't feel any kind of way. She says, but I have a computer now. Awesome. So if you need help getting back in, just email support and they'll get you back in. But moving on, let's add some outlines real quick and some shadows, and we'll be done because we're running over our hour that I usually allot. So to add outlines, you're gonna go back to those text layers, right click again, alpha to selection. If you haven't noticed, the pattern to make selections is right click, alpha to selections. And then we're gonna grow the selection by going to select, grow. So give me select, grow in the chat. Select, grow. And then we're gonna choose a number. We don't need 100 for sure. Usually around 40 or 50 is good for 6,000 by 6,000, but you have to play around with it and see because it varies depending on the canvas size as well as the font size. And if I zoom in, you will see how much the outline is going to be because it's going to go from the selection to the growth area. I don't want my outline to be that thick, so I'm going to do edit, undo, and then select grow again. So you see when I undid it, it went back to the main selection. Select grow. Let's do a smaller number. Let's try 25. All right, that's good. So I'm going to add a white outline. And you can do that. I know most of you probably just want to go ahead and fill it in right now, but there is an extra step that I recommend taking so that you are sure to get all of the selection. So you're going to create a new layer by clicking on the very first icon in your layers window. Name the layer whatever you want it to name. Mine is already on outline, so I'm going to just leave it there. But the important part is to make sure that the very bottom selection is transparency. And then click on OK. And as you can see, here's our new layer for our outline. Then we're going to use our bucket fill tool because I want a solid outline. White. So you're going to change your foreground color to white or whatever color you want it to be. Mine is already white. So I'm going to just click inside of the selection. And you'll see that we now have a white outline. So select none. And we want to move this layer. Oh, I was about to say, usually you have to move it down. I'll go ahead and move it down. But because we already had our glitter layer, when we did our selection, it was already in the correct place. So that's fine. That's why I had that awkward pause there for a second. Keisha said, I just did this over the weekend. Awesome. So let's repeat up here at the top, just in case you missed it. So our text layer here, right click, alpha to selection, select, grow, and I like the size that we had with the 25, so I'm going to do it again. Okay. You can see the growth. Add a new layer. Name it what you want. Make sure it's transparency though. Click OK. Your bucket fill tool is already selected. Your color is already selected. So click to get your outline. Turn off the selection and you can move it down. And I'm gonna zoom out. Oh, not that far. So y'all can see. So as you can see, our outline for our border is the size of the full canvas. So we're gonna scale it down with our layer crop to content. Now you can see that it cropped there. And we're gonna do the same thing with our other outline layer. Layer, crop to content. And it makes that makes our next step work better too when you crop down because it's not gonna take as long. So the next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna add a little shadow because I'm all about making stuff pop. We're gonna go to filters, light and shadow, drop shadow. I like drop shadows. So once you're here, I'm gonna close out so you can get it again. Filters, light and shadow, drop shadow. Now, if you go down here and turn up the opacity, you can see better where it pops. I'm gonna turn off the preview, turn it back on so y'all can see. See it? Now you can change the color by clicking in this box and choose whatever color you want it to be. I'm okay with the black because it's gonna contrast and make it pop off the screen. But you can also change the direction of the shadow by clicking and dragging in this XY axis. And you can also unclick this to make them move independently instead of together. So X is going to be left to right. Y is going to be up and down. Or you can leave them linked together. It's completely up to you and your creativity. And then you can increase how much of the radius you want to be blurred. Sometimes I like a lot, sometimes I don't. Once you get it all set to where you want it to be, just click on OK. And you're done. I'm going to do the same thing for a night to remember. A night of luxury layer. So I'm going to go to that outline layer. And you want to make sure you're doing this to the outline. We can go to filters, light and shadow, drop shadow and do it all over again. But if we want it to be the same as before, all you have to do is go to filters, repeat drop shadow, and it's going to redo it. Okay, so let's save our work. We're almost done, y'all. So I'm just going to clean up some things because I don't like hard edges. So hard edges, you see how the arm is cut off right here. Her leg is cut off right here. This arm is cut off. This is the only one where it's like a full image with no hard edges. So I'm just going to use my move tool. I'm actually going to flip this one, put this over here because her arm is kind of cut off. So I don't want it to be obvious. And I'm just going to move the image down to where it's kind of like floating underneath the text layer. Then I'm going to move this one over and then move it in front of this so you can't see that hard line. So I'm going to either drag it up, or you can use the up arrow to move it up until it's there. So it kind of camouflage that hard edge. That makes sense? I'm gonna move this hard edge down to where it kind of blends in with the text layer. And then we're done. I'm just a stickler for the hard edges. I cannot stand it when I see it on designs, but yeah. So let's move this up. Now we're just kind of playing around with it to see how we want it all to look. So the last part is just kind of like the final touches that you want to put on it. So I like this a lot. I like it, like it, like it. So I'm going to save it. If I were sending this to a paid customer, I would drag my watermark to the top, turn it on, and then export it. So you do that by going to File, Export As, and then whatever the name you want to name it, save it to the folder you want it to be in as a JPG, because that's a smaller compressed file. Export, you get another screen that asks you to finalize some things. Click on Export again. And that JPG file, which is an image, a type of image file, will be what I'm going to send to the customer. But because I'm doing this for free, I'm going to take the watermark off. Export it to that same design file. And then I'm just going to email it over to her. So, are there any questions? And I finally was able to do my comparison chart of the different options for the backdrop blueprint. And you can find them by going to backdropblueprint.com. You get all the information that you need. I'm pretty sure I add some more stuff to it, but right now it has what you need to make your buying decisions. Thanks, everybody. Because I love it. Great job, Q. Thank you. Thank you. And you're absolutely welcome. Can I get the steps to the filter part again? I don't know what you mean by the filter. Need a one-on-one? I do not offer one-on-ones right now, Sharon. But you can ask a question with what you need help with in the group. Thanks, everybody, and you're welcome also. Awesome instructor in grade class. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Where you added the outset. The outline? Oh, you're talking about the drop shadow. Okay. Let me go back. So you're talking about where I did this layer. Hold on. Let me turn it off so you can see it. So alpha to selection. Select, grow. Okay. Create a new layer. Transparent. Then use my bucket fill tool to fill it in. Turn off the selection by going to select none. And I just dropped the cashew on my floor. I don't know where it went. And then we're going to crop it down to the content. So layer, crop to content. And then we're going to go to filters. So filters, light and shadow. And I use the drop shadow tonight. So filters, light and shadow, drop shadow. And then I turned up the opacity. Just however you want it to look. You can play around with the X and Y axes. Increase the radius of the blur. Once you get it, oh, and you can also change the color here by clicking here. Once you get it set, click on OK. And it'll make that change. Oops, I didn't mean to click on it again. So there you go, Keisha. So filters, light and shadow, drop shadow is how you get there. You are very welcome. Mariella says, I got here late, but looking forward to seeing the recording. Awesome. So again, the recordings are in the monthly membership, but it explains all of that on the website at backdropblueprint.com. Any other questions? Anybody excited? Any clarity? Any aha moments? Y'all ready? I'm ready to see y'all designs. Says, yes, I'm excited. Wonderful class, great job. And thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Because if you weren't here, I wouldn't have anybody to talk to and teach. All right, I don't see any other questions. So I'm gonna hop off of here. And tentatively, I don't have Tutorial Tuesday on the schedule for next Tuesday. But if I do, I will come back. I will send an email and write in the app to let y'all know. But tentatively, not for next Tuesday. Okay, so keep that in mind. If you're not a member, go to Backdrop Blueprint. You will see all the different options and what's included in each of them. And I will see you on the next call or in the app.